Hello, Hans Westerman here. We will continue with our presentations of Blender 3D software, introducing this time materials. So let's get to it. Currently, I am in the UV editing tab. I have my phone body selected. To make things easier to see, I'm going to get rid of some of these other objects which are currently in the scene. Now we just have the body that we're working with. If I go now to the edit mode, select all of these, you will see that I have certain things which have been unwrapped, but I'm not getting all of them. So let's hit Z, wireframe, reselects once again. Now you can see that we have all these things which we unwrapped previously. Each one of these sections is an island, and what I'm going to do is apply a texture to these, but before I do that, I'm going to move these off on the side so we can see what's going on in here. And what I've done here is I have uploaded some images which I can select from in order to get these into this area so that you can see it. I go to images and then I upload it here. That's what I've been doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and apply another image here, which is going to be our guidelines as far as placing the canvas and projecting the image onto these surfaces. By first selecting this one. And we can do this, first of all. If I take this one, this is an island. If I were to have this selected, which is polygons, you can see it's the individuals. We don't want that. I want the full island, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this here, bring it down, and I'm going to want to use this surface here to create a gray area right there. And let's just go to the object mode now. As you can see that we need to be in the edit mode. And I'm going to go ahead and scale this down. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible so that we can move forward with everything. That's going to be gray underneath there. This one is going to be blue. So let's move this down here. And then we can go to this one, move this over, scale this down, bring it over here. This one, we're going to move this over like this, and then we're going to scale it down. Oops, Control Z. Just move it over here. I think that's good enough as it is right there. And then this surface right here, we're going to be projecting these numbers onto the surface. So I can start out first of all by scaling this a little bit, like that, and then also like this. But before I do anything, what I want to do now is create the material this image is going to be. And the way that I do that is I go to the Materials tab, which I am already, it looks like, and I'm going to start out first of all by adding a material. looks like I already have a material done here, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this first. And we're going to start from scratch. So let's go back to the edit mode, add material. It's going to be a new material. And we're going over to the shading, which is where we do this. If I scroll back, you'll see that I have this created. So right here, this is referred to as your shader right here. This is a Principled BSDF. And you have your basic color and all sorts of different things. We're not going to explain so much about this right now. But as far as like the output and the way it's supposed to look and all that, this is your basics right here. So what I want to do now is if I were to take this and apply that, it's going to be white, I think. So let's just go ahead and see what we can do. If we go back to the edit mode, material 1 is what we have this called. Let's double click and call this phone body. And let's just go ahead and assign that. So if I were to now look at this like this, Z, and let's go to the render. It should be white. And I'm sure that's exactly what it is. So let's go to the material. There's the white. We're going to change this so that we have this image on there. So let's go back to the shader. Shading right here. I want to add an image. So I go to another texture, image texture, and then open up that image which we were going to be using. And I know that I have all my images stored in this folder right here. And where I want to be is this one right here. Let's take a look and see what we got. There it is. Phone dial 2. Open. Apply this. And let's see what we got when we go back to the UV editor. Now you can see that we have the image actually directly up here, and we had some pretty good luck as far as placement was concerned right there. But let's see what we can do if we add on to this a little bit more. I'm going to first of all go to my dial, and we want to adjust this so that it's going to fit exactly with this dial right here. So I'm going to bring it in a little bit like this, and then bring this one right here, and then I can move this over about like this. I think that that's okay. It's not going to be perfect, and I don't want to spend too much time fudging with this, because this is basically just showing you how we can get this thing to work the way that we want it to work. So here we go. And yeah. So we can see right here that this is overlapping. We're going to move this guy over a little bit so that we can get rid of that. So if I click on this there, and then I move this like that, it should be blue. And let's go back to the wireframe, select everything. And now it looks like we're okay. And you can see that we separated this here as well too, and that's completely okay. All right, so next step, what I want to do is I want to add also another texture, which is going to give the impression that we have created some geometry around this. I'm going to go back to shader and add something which is called a bump. So let's go back to the add vector bump. Click on that there and add this, the normal, to displacement. This is what we want. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to add another image, which is going to serve as the displacement of the surface, highs and lows, so to speak. Add texture, image, texture, right here. Open, and back to the source images, and what I want here is bump 3. So if I open this up, and then I add this one here, and we go back to the edit mode, Z, render. Now you can see that we have like this section here, which is a little bit broader. What I can do now from this is I'm going to go down to the displacement right here and minimize the strength so that it's a little bit there, maybe. Let's go to the object mode. We can take a look at that there. So you can see that it looks like it's a little bit raised. And this is just for the demonstration of this, so I'm not going to work so much more of this. We could obviously also go back to the edit mode, and we can move this over just a little bit. So let's bring it over just a tad there and see what we have. Okay, so we can just play with this until it gets to the point where it needs to be. Okay, so that's the first step. Here you can see here we might have to move another thing over, but you know how to do that if you need to do it. And we're going to go and work with the next object, which is this one right here. So let's create a new texture right there. Add a new, back to the shader, and this time I am going to go again also into the first add texture image, bring this over to color, to base color. If we take a look at the preview, that's what it looks like right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and open this up, source images, and it's going to be the dial. So I want to do the dial right here, which is a lighter gray. Yeah, I think I can use that one right there. That's fine. Actually, let me see which one it is that I want here. The dial, phone dial. Phone dial. Phone, wood texture. It's got to be here someplace. There it is. That's it. All right. A little bit hard, but now you can see that we have this going like that. All right. Next step is we are going to apply that to this. So let's go back to the UV editor, and we're just going to go ahead and apply that material just like that. After we select all of these guys here, of course, so let's just go ahead and do that. So it would be Z, wireframe, there we go. And we're going to go ahead and assign that material here. I'm going to change this name to dial as well, so it's easily identified. Dial 01 and Z. Let's go to the render, and you can see now from here that we have this applied. What I'm going to do also here is if we change the alpha, I can make this a little bit transparent like this. You can bring down the roughness to give it a bit of a shine, just like we are going to do with the other one, but we're not going to do that quite yet. Actually, we could actually do that. We're going to go ahead and bring that roughness down to 0.117, and then we're going to deal with this later as far as 0.117. There we go. That's better. So now you see it's a little bit shinier there. And let's move forward with the next. So I got this selected, the object mode. Next thing I want to do is I want to change this a little bit. So right now, what we do is we have this image, which is used and applied to the full surface of this dial. But what we're going to do is we are going to instead apply this image to the center here. And what I've found is that the best way to do that is actually to go ahead and select all of these guys in the center. Let's go to Alt and see if we can select that. Shift. That we do not want to do like that. We'll do this again here. Oops. A little bit of different ways of selecting this here. So we're going to go ahead and go to Shift and then Shift, Control. Shift, Shift, Control. Shift, Shift, Control. Shift, Shift, Control. Shift, Shift. Want these little ones also to be selected. Shift and Control. Here we go again. Shift. So we're going to make this into its own UV map, is what we're in process of doing here. There, I think we have all of them. Right click, UV, minimum stretch. That's exactly where we want to be. So now let's go ahead and add a new texture here. Right there, add new. Go back to shading, just like that. And from there, what we're going to do is add a new image, texture image, image map right there, and it's the label under the source images, and that was Bell. I know this to be true. Open and connect. And now with this done, what we can do now is we can select back at the UV editor right here, apply. So now we have this in the center, and let's adjust this so that it is more, so it is straighter. Right here with a rotate. Take it one more time. Rotate. There we go. As you can see, just like that. Okay. So that's basically the foundation that we were going to work with here. And the same thing can be done like with the telephone receiver. If we add this there, you can see that we have like this already set up. I put this in here earlier. If I select this, just like this, then you can see from here, if I add that and we go to the wireframe, you can see that we have all the different parts here that we've got going for us. But we're going to go ahead and put that other image in here, which was the same one here. So you can see that right here, I've placed this right here. And if we go to the object mode, you can see that that is placed in here because of the fact that I have applied and positioned this island over that section. And that's basically where it's at. It's on both sides here. So that's what we were going to do with that. Next, we are going to be looking at the actual rendering of the scene. So until then,